Yellow from the People, and today we'll be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Velocitron Speedy F500 Collection Voyager Class Road Hauler, or Hauler if you'd like. So before we take a look at this figure, let's take a look at the packaging. So here we have the packaging. It looks the same as the deluxe packaging, just a bit bigger. So you can see the character art, vehicle mode art, the render of his vehicle mode. Also his hand does seem inaccurate. You can see the title of the subline and the title of the main line. He's Road Hauler, or Hauler. You can see he's a Voyager class, and you can read the other languages. You can see the side. It actually looks pretty good. And some product shots. So that's basically it for the packaging. And moving right along here we have Hauler. And the painting and sculpting is actually pretty good. So you can see how there isn't that much painted in detailing, but the ones that he does come with actually look pretty good. For example, the yellow and black stripings on the sides of the crane arm and this part. That looks pretty good. It doesn't seem to be any paint mishaps aside from the sides. Yeah. The canisters are also painted in a gunmetal gray, and they actually look pretty good. And the wheels are actually painted, as in the rims. Doesn't look bad either. You can see the thighs as well. Not sure if this is supposed to be a spare tire, but if it is, that's a pretty cool detailing. And the front, they painted the bumper and this section in the same gunmetal gray. And you can see that they added some lights. They added the top lights. That's pretty funny. And a pretty cool attention to detail. And you can see the shoulders basically become ventilation shafts. I'm guessing that's what they're supposed to be. Still a pretty cool usage for some detailing in the vehicle mode. So he comes with a few accessories, that being this claw and these two weapons. So one of the weapons is this handgun, literally, and this pretty cool looking gun. So the thing about these is that they're Bush compatible, so I'll be right back. So bringing in the two Bush effects, these two are from the Siege Hot Link. So bringing in these two, so you can see there's the nubs on at the tip of the guns, and you just plug that in there, and there you go. Pretty cool gimmick, to be honest. And bringing in this claw, it has a clipping on it. Since he's a Redeco Featherized Grapple, he's actually compatible with modulators, and I brought leather thing for a demonstration. So since he's the only modulator I have, and that doesn't look bad at all. And I'm gonna unclip that. There you go. So that's basically it for the accessories. Let's move on to the visibility. The crane arm can move. It can do that, and it can do that with the hook. The crane arm can extend, and it can extend. You can rotate by a full 360, and it's on a ratcheted joint. Anyways, you can place these weapons on him via the ports on him, like that. And as for this, you can see this rectangular port, and you can see this peg. You just plug that in there. As for the claw, where did I? Dang it. As for the claw, so you're supposed to place it on over here, but I actually hate that. It looks pretty bad, which is why I usually like to do this. It doesn't make the situation any better, but it's at least bearable to. It's actually more bearable to see than that. So let's move on to size comparisons, shall we? Here we have him compared next to the Piggy Duo. As you can see right there. Here we have him compared next to Kingdom Wingfinger. This isn't the case where I have a figure, but I didn't review him yet. And I mean, like a year now. I just got this figure. And here we have him compared next to Studio Series Ratchet and Earthrise Cliffjumper. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, well, here you go. Anyways, here we have him compared next to Battle Class Shockwave. I forgot to do that comparison. It's a blasphemy to not compare them. Also, I'm still confused why I do him in gun mode. And here we have him compared next to Phaser and Blastmaster, or as I like to call them, the illegally small NASA boys. And my dog just answered my room. Also, it's October 19th as I was recording this, and it's his birthday. So, yeah. And you're compared next to this Lego Transformer that I did. There you go. Dang it. So, let's move on to his transformation, shall we? And, I'm currently occupied because my dog wants me to pet him. Yeah, be right back. So, let's move on to the transformation, shall we? Moving it back a bit. So, it's pretty simple. So, basically, I apologize for that. You're supposed to rotate the crane arm and move it back. De-extended, but you can also do this. De-extended. Just like that. And you unpeg this head section from the feet, which isn't actually harder to do because they actually made the pegs smaller. As you can see there, that was the problem with the Earthrise figure. The pegs were actually large to the point they'll break. Anyways, so you rotate the feet and fold them down. Same steps on the other side. And then you bring in his arms. And you bring his arms down. Rotate the forearm. You just do that. Bring in this panelly mess and you just accordion it on itself. Because you can see there's actually ports onto pegs or tabs, if you will. And you're just gonna have to tab that in. On the first one, there's a pentagon-shaped port and a pentagon-shaped port. You just plug that in as well. And you can see the rectangular-shaped port and the rectangular-shaped tab. You tab that in as well. And you rotate the head, which is actually pretty genius. Also, I find it cool how they added some groove detailing on the front. That's a really cool attention to detail. And you bring that down and you tab that in there. And you just bring this crane arm down. And there you have him in his robot mode. With the arms. That is, his arms are not transformed for a reason. Because there's something you can actually do with that gimmick. So if you bring in his handgun and his claw, you can actually give him some weapons. Just bringing in his his hand cannon and his arm and his claw, I meant. There you have it. And he actually doesn't look bad with them. Also, the reason I just like doing this for some reason, because I usually like to think that this is what he used to look like before he turned on the Decepticons, since he was originally a Constructicon. Strange. I might explain that in another video. So the painting and sculpting is actually pretty good. So I like how they actually added in more painted and detailing, in this robot mode. It really saves it. So taking a look at the head, I'm not a fan of it because of how it's a yelling face and how there's a paint scratch. It came like that in the packaging. I swear it wasn't me. Anyways, yeah, it doesn't look bad. Though I don't like how the Yeah, I forgot to mention this. I don't like how he's in the yelling face, because it just looks weird when he's in a pose like this. It's actually just a standing pose, but it still looks weird. Another thing that I don't really have anything else, but this is pretty funny how they didn't add any sort of plastic covering on there. That's pretty funny. I like how they painted in the pylons on this. It looks pretty good, and it doesn't really restrict his visibility. You can see the shoulders are also painted. As for the legs, I'm not sure if they are painted, though they do seem to be painted. But even then, I'm pretty sure this piece is a different colored plastic. It does seem to be that case. Yeah. So there's not much else to talk about with the painting. Let's just another thing you can do is you can just leave him with his hands, and that's it. You can also store these on the robot mode. For the pretty cool looking gun, you can plug that onto his hand, or on any other ports that you can see, or on the back of his head, since that's usually what the instructions showed. As for the claw frick, it showed it being on either hand or on the back. I still hate that, and it restricts visibility. So I just usually like to set it off to the side. As for the hand cannon, well, what else do you do? It's the same. It doesn't really affect it, and it's just like that. So let's move on to visibility now, shall we? What the frick was that? So he can swivel at the head due to his head being on a mushroom peg joint. So yeah, but you can cheat it by just untabbing the head section so he can look up. He can do a full 360 at the arms, and like I mentioned earlier, his arms can spread out without any sort of problems. He has a forearm swivel. Oh, he also has a faux butterfly joint. Also, when you're trying to pose him, he untransforms. He has a forearm swivel. His arms can move that much, and he can do this sort of posing on his hands due to that gimmick and his transformation. He has a waist swivel, but I wouldn't really advise it if you want to transform him. It really restricts it. He can do a split, and he can kick that far, and he can kick back that far. Thigh swivel, and 90-degree bend on the knee. His legs can extend, but they move forward instead of the same. Yeah. He also has a maximum pivot. And yeah, this figure is actually pretty poseable. And let's move on to some size comparisons, shall we? Compared next to this unnamed LEGO Transformers Duocon I made. I may talk about this later. Here I am compared next to Wing Finger. There, as you can see there. And my dog is currently with me. Here I am compared next to Battle Class Shockwave. Here I am compared next to the Rescue Trio, or at least also known as the Hound Rescue Trio. As you can see there, I am unable to actually do this video probably because of my dog being on my lap. That sounds weird out of context, but yeah. And the Piggy Duo. So, my overall final thoughts on this figure. This figure is really good. So, yeah. I would kind of recommend him if you didn't get the other grapple remolds and redecos. And yeah, though I wouldn't really recommend getting another one of these molds, and holy frick, though I wouldn't really recommend getting one of these molds again. So yeah, and this is basically it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.